with the Devils, and we're back talking everything Arizona State football. After a week off for the bye, we're here. We're ready to talk some Arizona State football with you. We are chomping at the bit to get into some ASU football this week. I'm the Rhino, Ryan Knowles, here with me as always, my partner in crime, Big John Caldwell.
Yo.
And Big John, first things first, of course, we got to recap the Devils' win 2 weeks ago in Ames, an upset over the Iowa State Cyclones. They were battling the elements. They wasn't the prettiest game certainly, but I think that's kind of the way ASU likes it at this point, with a backup quarterback and a defense that is playing the way it is right now. But they got past Iowa State there with a nice win, and they're bowl eligible, so they will be playing in the postseason in some way, shape, or form coming up in the next couple months. So They got 3 games left, and of course they will welcome the West Virginia Mountaineers to Tempe this weekend, early kickoff. So we'll definitely talk about the implications of that. We'll talk about Jeff Sims' performance against Iowa State. Definitely a record-setting performance to definitely key the Devils to their win over the Cyclones. And then more injury news. That seems to be the sticking point of this season. Xavier Alford, Kyson Brown, both ruled out for the season. They join guys like Sam Levitt and Ben Coleman. Some leaders on this team. It's crazy how many guys who were at the Big 12 Media Day, and the captains of the team that are done for the year. It's very, very frustrating.
It is. It's part of the game. I do like the way this team has responded. I do like the next man up mentality about the whole thing. I think the overall thing here is we play our best ball after these losses. We seem to snap back. We've had some really high highs, and as Kenny says, some really high highs and really low lows.
But they haven't handled success well. That was kind of his sticking point.
I understand exactly what he's saying, and I think what he really means by it, we haven't played our best ball yet. We have not played a complete game.
No, they have not.
And so I think
that has been an issue, right?
I think in the last quarter of a season, you look to it's always how to improve. It's the same process, but how do you? They're always looking for improvement, and I think they're poised to fix some things. I mean, 11 penalties last week is still a lot at this time of the year, and it needs to get better.
Yeah, that was a problem, and that is certainly something that we'll discuss here coming up on the show. And it feels good to be back after this bye week. And speaking of injuries, it seems like the Devils got healthy during the bye week because they don't have any guys questionable for this week. Just doubtful and out is how they're ranked, is how they're lined up on the injury report this week. So definitely, having a week off going into this last stretch run of the season, I think is going to be key for this team. And then, but during the bye week, Max Henniger, Jordan Tyson, and Keyshawn Elliott all earned Shrine Bowl invitations. So they'll get to showcase their talents for NFL scouts coming up here when the regular season is done. And but we're definitely going to start talking about this Iowa State win. As you can see there, that big 88-yard touchdown run by Jeff Sims, the longest touchdown run by a quarterback in ASU history, on his way to a record-setting day. That definitely, I said this before, I'm going to say it again because it's so true. He keyed the Devils to the win. This was definitely the best game that Jeff Sims played in an ASU uniform.
To be clear, Mark Malone had a 99-yard run, back in 78, 79, and but this was the longest from that wasn't a punt. He wasn't a punt returner, but he had the overall record for most number of yards rushing by a ASU quarterback.
Yes.
But Malone still has the single one run at 99 yards. I know because I was standing right on the sidelines. He came chugging right past me, and he was booking. And by the way, on this play, you can't see it here, but Jordan Tyson is running along the sideline. So maybe he's better than we're being led to believe. Maybe he can run 5 yards. I don't know, but everybody. this ignited the team, and his performance was everybody who knows him, they like the guy. He's a leader. He's this was not out of the blue or unexpected. His teammates expected really good things from him. So good things happen to good people. He's been was two other programs, but all of his teammates really were not only respect him as a leader, but they like the guy. They like blocking for the guy. I saw guys going downfield picking up blocks in the I saw Ahinacore going down. Here you see Harpole. Harpole was making all kinds of mad blocks downfield. The tight ends really did a great job in this game.
Yeah, I still felt like Atkins and Hanajor missed too
Yeah.
many blocks.
Hmm.
Again, that's been a problem, on certain run plays when they pull and whatnot. But definitely a strong. You can't fault the offensive line too much when you rush for 290 yards as a team, and your quarterback alone rushes for 200, a school record 228 yards
Yeah.
and two scores on the ground. So
Well,
hats off to this offensive unit. We really weren't sure how they were going to respond
Mhm.
after that loss to Houston, and with Sam Levitt being ruled out for the year. How was this offense? What was this offense going to look like? How were they going to respond? We knew they were going to lean on the running game, but I don't think
Yeah.
we quite expected the outpouring that they did against an Iowa State team that's been considered a physical defense, especially at the point of
Hmm.
attack,
I
and
you know
they
yeah,
ran wild on them.
they did. And I couldn't tell everybody what I had seen in practice. It's not cool. I'm not quite media, and I'm not quite. I don't know what I am, but I'm a booster who shows up and has a podcast, and I'm very grateful for the access they give me. But I did see a lot of quarterback, and these weren't options. Those were called plays that he was running right from the get, and they were like quarterback draws. He was merely
Yeah.
waiting to see where that middle linebacker was.
Well, and they're running read options.
Correct.
He'd read the D end or
Hmm.
the middle linebacker and just kind of go where they weren't,
Right.
pretty
Yep.
much. And then, they ran a lot of quarterback power too. They
Yep.
would roll, a
Hmm.
tight end or a running back excuse me, tight end, running back, offensive lineman to the area they wanted Sims to go, and they were successful. I mean, they were able to move the chains quite a bit. They did a lot of really good things on the ground, and that's what they needed to do. They needed to establish the line of scrimmage. That was one of our big keys going into that game. That's going to be something that they have to do, if they want to have success the rest of this season, is lean on that running game, and hopefully it'll key
Yep.
to the passing game and just be enough of a threat to where teams have to watch out for it, and then hopefully it'll create some one-on-one opportunities for guys in the receiving core and the tight ends.
What I liked is, unlike our running backs, and you're going to hear me talk about our running back situation because I got to talk to Coach Iguano last night. Um, but remember, quarterback, he has back in his name. He's a very important part of the running game, always. But I was predicting I couldn't tell you the scheme, or couldn't tell the fans the scheme last week, but I could tell you that Jeff would run more than he passed, and that was certainly evident. And what I liked about it is he was running strong from the get go. In other words, it wasn't he didn't need to get in rhythm like our running backs. He was off to the races. 7 yards the first run, 10 the second. I mean, he was getting it done. He's a very good athlete. I could see somebody taking a flyer on him and bringing him into a camp for a free agent workout.
Yeah, maybe as like
Just
a gadget quarterback or something. Maybe
actually,
to try to develop him into a receiver.
no, I see him as he's the kind of guy you want in a pro team because he can play special teams, special tight end, special receiver, quarterback.
Yeah, maybe
And,
a tight end. Yeah.
well, what I'm saying is teams will take a player who can play four positions just because of the roster. It saves you four roster spots.
Sure.
That's very, very common in the league to find good athletes. He's a very good, and I love the fact that they took that jersey and they put it in the Hall of Fame right away. They knew exactly what they wanted to do with it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was beat up. It was stained. It was. I mean, it's not like he's going to wear it again.
He had
So
the red from their logo all over it.
yeah, right.
Uh,
The
but
the green, the yellow. Yeah, it was like a
good,
rainbow jersey.
good for him.
Um, oh yeah, very good for him. And yeah, we've been critical of Jeff Sims at times, just for his inability to, his struggles, his inability to play the position quite the way Sam Levitt has. But for him to step in and play like this, you know, he made some good throws. I
He
mean,
made
yeah,
some
the
tough
running
throws.
yeah, everybody's going to talk about the running game, but
He made some.
yeah, he made some throws. That touchdown throw to Mateer was outstanding. It was right
Oh,
on the money.
he had.
That's been an issue for him. Even just making the simple throws at times had been an issue for him. So I think having a week to run with the ones and for
Mm-hmm,
them to institute some run pass option, which
mm-hmm.
had not been used enough when he came into games, was crucial as well.
Well, it's really simple. He has a tendency to throw a very hard ball, and if you get a week for the receivers to get used to that hard ball, or more importantly, he had a chance to sort of develop his touch over that week.
Right.
And because I saw him where he normally would be throwing very hard, he sort of started having some touch. So good for Jeff that they were able to coach him up. And we're gonna have to go the rest of the way, folks. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to run for 300 yards this week either. This week because I think teams are going to key on him.
Hmm.
They're going to have somebody spying him at all points now. You have to, I think, with the threat that he presents. But I love the fact
Um,
that he baseball slides. He's not going to he's going to. I wish he would teach that to Sam, right?
I don't mind the head first slide so much. I mean, you kind of have to pick your spots with it, but the fact that they don't spot you where you start your slide,
I know
I
that's
think is
yeah.
very crucial, especially
Uh-huh.
when you're a running team and you don't want to have to worry about too many short yardage situations. That's always been the big thing for me. Has always been moving the chains, keeping the drives sustained as much as you can. Hey, you hit them for a big play, great, fantastic, but keeping the chains moving and keeping your plays up, the number of plays up, has
Hmm.
always been a big key for me, and that's certainly something ASU did in this game. They were able to control the line of scrimmage and control the clock. But yeah, and of course we got to talk about our we have our Big 12 weekend review as we always do here on RWD. We'll talk about the ASU's Big 12 championship game odds. They're a little slim right now. We're not going to lie, but they're in the mix. Okay,
Yeah.
and that's always been the thing with the Big 12 is there's always it's very there's always about 6 or 7 teams, especially around this time of year, that
Hmm.
have the key that have a shot. They have
Hmm.
depending on how things break down, they could certainly weasel their way into one of those two spots for the Big 12 championship game in Dallas. Um, we'll get into that. Of course, we'll preview the Devils matchup with West Virginia. But we got to start with if you go back a slide, we'll talk about got to talk about ASU's upset win here. We kind of got into it already, but just from a numbers standpoint, it's very staggering with the amount of rushing yards that they had, almost 300, 467 yards total.
But as a deep,
32 minutes time of
yeah,
possession.
yeah. But defense
Um,
won. Defense won the day, though. I mean, it was Sims and
yes.
deep. Sims and deep is kind of a two pro, headline
Well,
with a
and
final
that's kind of when you don't
secondary.
have your top quarterback and you really need to lean on your running game. That's going to have to be your strategy. Is going to be getting stops on defense
Mm-hmm.
and moving into scoring position with your running game. And that's a lot of what ASU did and had success with on this game. Not all positive, of course. 11 penalties. We talked about those. Discipline continues to be an issue. A few of those were little ticky tack things they were calling it a little close. I think those Big 12 refs. I got more than one person
Yeah.
texting me like, "Hey, did the Pac-12 refs migrate over?" All this stuff, and they're just they were a little ticky tack, but
Well,
especially with they had a lineman downfield a few times.
right.
Just a couple of
Special
things that
teams.
could have been avoided. Certainly, it should be avoided at this point in the season.
Yeah. I mean, they got one the week before where a freshman got ran over and he got called for holding. The same.
Mm,
Now he fixed that. Now somebody else did the same thing the next this game.
mm,
It's just some of it is just inexperience, guys, not being on the field
mm.
enough. Football is a game of preparation and repetition.
Oh yeah.
This sport is the only sport I know where you probably practice 10 times more than you actually play.
For
Um,
sure.
so because it's all execution is so tight. There's so much going on in every play, and so yeah, well, I do think the execution is getting better, but I just still think that what's happening is our defense is playing at a pretty darn good level. I think witness the fact that we're still making turnovers, and we're deflecting balls. We're
Well,
coming up.
yeah, and
We're making
those turnovers here were on offense, and
yes, no,
that
I know
was
that. Right,
as good a game as Jeff Sims had, he did have two costly fumbles,
right. Hmm.
that he probably shouldn't have had.
And
He's
could
got to, you're going to get hit. You got to hang on to the ball, put two
hmm
hands around it. I
and
was, kind of screaming at the TV when he had that really nice run for a first down, and then one guy
hmm
hits him just right, and the ball
that's
comes
right.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
and,
that was,
and
it's just like you're going to get hit. You got to put it away,
yeah.
and hopefully that's something that he after he lost that fumble, he certainly did. Like he was two hands
Oh,
the
two
rest
hands.
of the way.
Yeah, and Kenny took responsibility for the interception in the play that he asked for, where he wanted the ball. So Kenny sort of said that was on him. So, but yeah, it's trust me, they've had a good week of practice, and I know that they're paying attention to all this.
Very
We
good.
we have
And
we
then
have we have real officials, folks, at every single practice that are calling penalties. Um,
yeah, so they
and,
should be prepared for the games then. I
that's right,
mean, for
right.
what to expect. But moving on, we talked about we'll get into the defense here in just a minute, but just a couple guys to feature. I think Shimon Mateer may have had his best game
Hmm.
as a Sun Devil. That's 6 catches, 68 yards, and a touchdown. Him and Jeff Sims seem to be on the same page for the most part.
Hmm.
Definitely a tight end is a back quarterback's best friend, and hopefully Mateo gets some more opportunities because he's certainly been one of the better tight ends in the Big 12 this season. And all of last year too, he was really good. And then Relique Brown definitely made an impact. 16 carries, 64 yards, and a couple catches as well. But aside from Jeff Sims, the real star, you as you mentioned, John, real star of this team was the defense. They got off the field. They had two. They forced 2 of 14 on third down. They got home to the quarterback a few times, created some, you know, create some havoc out there, which is what we were calling for 2 weeks ago. And they got their hands up too. They knocked some balls down, which is something that we've been harping for as well. We've been wanting to see this team get their hands on some more passes. And the secondary when they had their opportunities, I think they came up really big. Javen Robinson had a nice deflection to knock the ball away. Rodney Bimmage continues to he just makes at least one big play every single week. And what more can you say about Keith Abney? The guy just
Oh,
balls out
I
each and
just
every week. I mean, he practically shuts down half the side of the field.
I just got this stat just came across my phone. Abney has not allowed a TD in 329 coverage snaps this year.
That's
He
right.
ranks fourth nationally amongst quarterbacks yet to give up a score. Um, he
Yeah,
really has.
everybody kind of harps the fact that he doesn't get a lot of interceptions. Well, he doesn't get a lot of opportunities. Teams
No,
are
they
kind of staying away from him because they know how good he is. I
yeah.
think, and he proved that last year with the number of
Hmm.
interceptions that he had. Uh, Last year when everybody was kind of sleeping on him.
Hmm. Hmm. No,
So
it's I loved really the way this defense really rose to the occasion.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and we'll
And
talk
you
about our
know,
players of the game in a minute on some of the
yeah. Well,
individual.
of course we'll get into that, but just a couple guys that we want to feature on this defense as we move forward. Um, we talked about Keith Abney, of course, a couple tackles, couple
Hmm.
pass defense. Jordan Crook with that great interception that he had was tremendous. Again, he just seems to show up big in just about every game. And I don't know if I've seen Rocco Beck play this bad a game.
No.
Frankly, I've watched quite a few of his games, and he's very, he's usually completing at least like 65% of his passes. He was only 50% in this game. Didn't even throw for 200 yards. Did have that rushing touchdown, but that interception that he threw to Jordan
Hmm.
Crook was, he was just kind of panicking. I think,
It
a little
was.
bit.
Yeah, it
And
was.
then once, Bremer, his tight end, went out,
Mm-hmm.
or Brahmer
Brom.
went out.
They threw him
Um,
on the cart.
right,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
and that was scary. That was very
Mm-hmm.
scary. Thankfully, he's okay. But once he went out, again, tight end, best quarterback's best friend. When he wasn't in there, it definitely affected Iowa State's ability to move the ball consistently. And yeah, it was, yeah, thank good, props to the defense showing up again
Well,
for a big game, especially after, they were getting run, they kind of got run wild on against Houston.
yeah, no
So
kidding.
it was good to see them bounce back for a strong game themselves.
I like how they respond after losses. The Crook's going to be on a whole lot of watch lists next year, man. I'm telling you, that kid's just. I mean, just with the year he's had, and he's how instinctual he is. He and Elliott really is the most instinctual linebacker we have, but Crook is just he's just cat-like quick, you know. And he's just like I said, he's blowing me
Oh yeah,
away.
and,
He's
with
just he'll be the
some
leader
of the
next year. He'll be
injuries that they've
the leader.
had to guys like Fiaseu and Tate
Mm-hmm.
Romney,
Yep.
he's gotten a lot more opportunities. Got they were have last year they had kind of a you know kind of a good rotation
Mm-hmm.
of guys, especially with Caleb McCullough coming in. But it's basically been in this season, even with Martell Hughes playing as well as he has, uh, Keyshawn Elliott, Jordan Crook, and then everybody else.
Mm-hmm. True.
And they've definitely separated themselves with their play. And that takes us into our players of the week, which we love to do here on RWD because it means the Devils picked up a win, and we do it here. Brought to you by the Valley Athletic Booster Club. Support local athletics. Check out valleyathleticboosterclub.com. Best tailgate in Tempe,
No
bar
kidding.
none.
We get yeah,
Bank on it.
we were just putting on the final touches to the U of A tailgate. Mariachis,
Ah,
7 mariachis.
can't beat that. And for me, who else can you go with? I mean, it's got to be Jeff Sims. The
Yeah.
guy was just a warrior out there. Would have liked to seen him not fumble the ball as much as
Hmm.
he did, but still came away with some huge plays. And he was good enough in the passing game to be dangerous. 177 yards and a touchdown through the air, but those numbers on the ground were tremendous. 29 carries, a school record, 228 yards and two touchdowns for a quarterback, and I think a top five rushing performance all time,
Hmm.
if I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken. I think
That's correct.
you
Yeah.
had Eno Benjamin, Kalen Balaj were ahead of him.
Hmm.
The others are escaping me at the moment, but his efforts earned him Big 12 Offensive Player of the Week and AP National Player of the Week. So
Big,
the
big time.
the country definitely took notice of Jeff Sims stepping in the way he did. And again, I'd still call this his best game as a Sun Devil. I mean, he's gotten limited opportunities, but when he's been in, he's kind of struggled. But this
Hmm.
game, he definitely led the team to a big win, and was tremendous in his play. And I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. And he was awesome out there. And then another guy who I think played his best game as a Sun Devil, defensive lineman Justin Watley. And this
Yeah.
guy's, he's battled injuries most of this year. He's missed some games. Looks like he's back fresh now because he's not even
Yeah.
on the injury report this week.
Oh, I
But he
saw him
had
last night.
yeah, he had a tremendous game. 5 tackles, a tackle for loss. That pass deflection, that knockdown that he had at the line
Hmm.
was a great play at a very very timely at a very big time.
Yep.
And that sack that he had as well came at a very big time. He was just very clutch.
He's
Yeah, he was very
folks.
clutch in this game. And again, I feel like best game as a Sun Devil for me, watching Justin Watley.
And I think the secret to his success, he's the biggest and most physical of all our DNs. We have some very athletic, really live,
Oh yeah,
really fast twitch DNs. He is just big, and if he plays the next level, I
yeah.
think he'll play tackle.
I love his size. Oh yeah, I
I
love
do.
his
Oh yeah,
size.
yeah,
And
and that's what's
yeah,
going to. If you
when you
saw him,
look at him, he doesn't look like a D end. Frankly,
oh
he does
no,
not
he
look
looks like
like
a
a D. He
tackle.
looks like a D tackle.
Yeah,
And
and by
yeah,
the
but
way,
when then he gets off the ball, and yeah, you can see why
yeah,
he is a quality pass rusher.
yeah, I saw him last night, and he's in really good spirits, and he looks healthy. So he's good, good for you. But way to go, Justin. It's he's getting home and that's what you want. So it's
Yes.
and we're spreading it around. I just love the way everybody's getting involved on that D line, and we got a great
Well,
rotation going on.
it shouldn't be, especially on the D line, it shouldn't just be one guy. It
Oh
should be,
no.
the whole unit, coming together
Hmm.
and gang tackling people, and CJ Fight had a couple big plays in this
Hmm.
game, but um, it was a whole team effort, frankly. When you look at how it's broken down, yeah, it is the linebackers at the top with the tackle numbers.
By
Certainly,
just by
Justin
design, yeah,
Watley,
yeah,
yeah,
by
had a
design.
good. Well, Justin Watley had a good game,
Hmm.
but if you watch CJ Fight, Blazing Lona Wong, Anthony
Hmm.
Cooper, you know, all these Kangaika, all these guys, they're just in the right place, that the place that they need to be in order to make plays. They're not doing anything too fancy or
Hmm.
um, flashy, but they're just going out there and making plays and getting teams off the field,
Go
and
if you go
that's the most important thing.
you go back and watch, how big the 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 offensive tackles were for Texas
Oh
Tech.
yeah.
Tech.
Oh sure.
Watley was holding his man. He was beating those guys. It was really cool to see. You know.
Well, yeah, and,
Uh,
and same thing with and Iowa State. I mean, they've always had a big offensive
yeah,
line. That's
they
what they've
have
been, they've been known for that. Their
big old
ability to
12.
control the
Yeah.
line of scrimmage. Yeah, establish the run when necessary.
Hmm.
But I felt like the defense really did a nice job. Yeah, I think Hansen had their running back got a few yards
Hmm.
here and there. He didn't go for over 100,
No.
and he broke off a couple big runs, but it wasn't to the point where you were worried that they weren't going to be able to get off the field in crunch time. That's why when Iowa State got the ball back there towards the end, and they
Hmm.
were driving down. They were picking up a couple first downs. You were a little bit worried, but then the defense kind of holds its own once they get across midfield, and they shorten up a little bit. The DBs get a little bit tighter. Things just when the field shortens up for the offense, that's when the defense can really show up and make plays, and they certainly did. They were uh, able to come away with a big stop there on that fourth down, and put the game away at that point. So,
Yeah.
John, your players of the week,
Well, you'd be foolish if you didn't say Sims because you don't get to be
naturally.
national player of the week without making my list, right? Like I
We
say,
don't really like to have the same player of the week
but
usually, but
right.
in
I,
a case like this, got to make an exception.
yeah, exactly. Nobody jumps off the page like that.
Mm,
That's like Balaj throwing 7 touchdowns or something. You know
yes.
what I mean? But really happy for Jeff again. And
Mm,
I just think we haven't seen the best of him, nor have we seen the best of this whole team. I mean, we I know everybody says we've got 3 losses, two in conference. Oh my gosh, we're not as good as we are. We still have a lot to play for, folks, and if
oh
everything.
yeah.
We're going to go through the scenarios in a minute how you get to the championship game. I hate to do that because you got to win one at a time, and
Yes.
I like
Well,
managing
yeah, but that's
expectations.
our job. The players don't need to be looking
Well,
at
yeah,
that. The
we're
coaches don't
not the
need to be
coach.
looking at that.
We're not.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're not coaches.
yeah, exactly.
and I
That
got airline
we're
re-
media. That's our job to look
and I
ahead.
and I got airline reservations to make. Well, come on. uh,
Damn right.
and so I mean, you go down the defensive side of things. Keyshawn led all tech. They had 10 tackles total, but
What else is new?
the same exact as last week. 10
Sky
tackles.
is blue, grass is green. Keyshawn
Elliott,
Elliott leads ASU
but
defense and
but but
tackles.
but this time he got home. He had a tackle for loss and a quarterback hurry. So
Mm-hmm.
he's just the captain out there, full command. Some kid came up to me at the tailgate and says, "Who's your favorite player?" I said, "Keyshawn Elliott." He goes, "Who's that?" I said, "Do you watch? He's half the
Yeah,
game. He's
right.
defense, man. Leads the team in
Yes.
tackles." Oh, okay. So he's like, "No, isn't Tyson your favorite?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Go look at the stats, kid."
Oh, that's an
Yeah,
easy answer.
yeah. But
Yeah.
no,
Yeah, the guy who scores all the touchdowns has got to be everybody's favorite player, right?
yeah, that's often. I've told I have a lot of friends who just can't stand 10-7 games or low scoring games. They think that something's really wrong. It's not exciting football. To
Well,
me,
hey,
uh, uh,
don't. There's certain teams you don't watch when you do that. Then
There's yeah, I love great defensive effort. It's half the game, man, and they deserve their shot too.
Well, yeah, and a good defense can cover up for, a lot of
Yeah,
things. If maybe you have injuries on offense. You don't have the
yeah.
best quarterback. You're trying to get your quarterback developed a little bit with some game experience.
Hmm.
Maybe you don't have the best offensive line. You got to have you're going to need a defense to keep you in games
Yep.
while you figure that kind of stuff out.
Yeah.
And I think ASU certainly has a defense. Brian Ward has done a tremendous job
Well,
here. I mean,
yep.
especially if you look at what they did last year, this year, yeah, the Houston game was kind of an anomaly. It was a pickup with how the defense struggled to get off the field and just make plays. But again, yeah, when they lose, they bounce back. They find they don't get it. They don't let one loss ruin their whole season.
Yeah.
So the fact they were able to respond on the road in the elements after a tough loss
Hmm.
against an Iowa State team who's not having the best season. They're a little bit down themselves, but they were looking to get right. They were these teams, both those teams who had 5 wins coming into this game, they were
That's
trying
right.
to get bowl eligible.
Yep.
And the fact that ASU just you know from the scoreboard at least wanted it more. Uh,
Well, you think that you,
that says a lot now, doesn't it?
you think after what happened in the championship game last year, they would have a real bad taste in their mouth and were really keyed up for this.
Yeah,
Um, I think our guys were met that and more. But the old
definitely.
adage that defense travels was never more true than this game. I
Mm,
felt. You know,
definitely.
so those are mine. So let's go through the what happened in the
Yes,
Big 12
we
is
got to get
last.
into our Big 12 weekend review, as we do every week here on RWD. Kind of break down the rest of what's going on in the Big 12 conference. Uh, the game of the week this past week is the Red Raiders and the Cougars met, and yeah, it was Texas Tech.
They tore
Kind of
them up.
surprising a lot of people, shutting BYU out for 3 quarters
They got after it.
before. Yeah, they did, and before coming away with a 29-7 win. And if you like, I mean, we talk about parity in this conference all the
Mm,
time. How these teams are kind of close. There's always going to be at least one game that's very exciting and you know very worthwhile as far as tuning in. There were three this week. With Houston this past week, I should say,
yep.
with ASU on the bye, Houston, Arizona, and Iowa State all won very close games. And hey, lo and behold, the U of A is bowl eligible.
Hey, even
Imagine how
even
those words taste coming out of my mouth.
well, I'm just going to say it. One of my favorite coaches is Danny Gonzalez, and I think he's done a great job. On offense, they strike me as very one-dimensional.
Oh
Um,
yes,
but I think Danny's defense is he's done a masterful job
yeah,
with
and
what he's
Fafita's
got
having a
there.
nice bounce back
Right,
year.
right.
I'll give the guy credit.
Hmm.
We'll talk about we're going to talk about them here in a couple weeks, of course. But
Hmm.
yeah, he's having a nice bounce back year. I think the fact that he's not having to force feed Tet McMillan is opening up their offense a lot more in
Right.
the passing game. Yeah, they are one dimensional. They're very reliant on what Fafita does, but they certainly, hey, it's worked for them.
Yeah.
They got 6 wins on the year. So, granted they did not have a very strong non-conference schedule, and yeah, they've gotten blasted by a couple teams, but they're competitive again,
Yeah.
and that's certainly saying something considering how bad they were last year. So
Hmm. Hmm. You know,
and then
when we,
Utah with another nice win against
I
Cincinnati.
that didn't
I thought that
surprise
game
me.
was going to be a lot closer than it
Yeah.
was,
Get it
and
really?
the
Yeah.
the Utes are a freaking buzzsaw right
Oh
now.
yeah. Oh
Ever
yeah.
since that
Well.
loss to BYU, they are just
Yep.
like murdering people.
Yeah, no, I think they show their physicality
Oh
when
yeah,
they
they
when they bring
definitely
that
have now.
they bring that physicality out. They can maul people. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Um, but we want to talk about our chances down here. I found a website that actually analyzes the chances of everybody in the Big 12. This was last week before last week's game. There were over 2 million possible outcomes to go if you add up
Mm,
all the teams and all the permutations of who could
there
win a
you
lot.
go.
So people are past. What are our chances? Like, dude, there's over 2 million possibilities here. We're not. You
Yeah,
know,
and a small percentage of those do involve ASU,
right.
of course. And I mean, it's gonna be a tough week this week too, because you have I got a few teams on the bye this week.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
you
you have
do have Utah. I mean, Utah, they own the tiebreaker over ASU. You're gonna need them to win. You're gonna need them to lose at least one more game.
right.
They got Baylor this week. BYU, you're gonna need them to lose at least one more game. They got TCU at home
Mhm.
this week. Texas Tech, they're probably gonna roll over UCF. I don't think there's any debate about that. But I mean, there are still some big games left to be
Yeah.
played that are going to determine how this conference plays out, and
Remember,
it definitely will come down to the last week of the season.
yeah,
So
and I think folks, a lot of times when you're doing this math,
again,
it's easy to say, well, what do we do to pass all these teams? You only have to finish second. Okay, yeah, you don't have to
that's
finish
true.
first. Finish second
Yeah,
to get that championship game. Um,
yeah.
and
You don't have to leapfrog everybody. Just
right.
you and one other team. That's all that's
Well,
left. And
so
and these are three very winnable games. I think
yeah,
that's the big thing, because ASU kind of had the bulk, the worst part of their. We talked about that 5 game gauntlet. It turned out to be a 6 game gauntlet with as good as Houston was.
yeah,
Um,
rising coming up.
yeah, and that we needed them. We thought they could get through if they could get through that 3-2, 4-2, they could come away with a win. They could have a good chance to make it to back to Arlington. Um, and I don't think anybody kind of anticipated that the season BYU was going to have. Texas Tech's been as good as advertised, but you got Utah. They're suddenly. I mean, what they did to ASU, even with Sam Levitt out, was no fluke. They're
Mhm.
they're legit. They're looking for real. And in 2 weeks, I mean, you're gonna have some big games here, because BYU goes to Cincinnati.
Oh yeah,
You got
that's gonna be tough.
TCU and Houston facing off. And
TCU can put up
it's
a lot of
just
points, man. TCU
yeah,
can
oh yeah,
score.
they're a good team. I mean, it's not there's no pushovers, I know.
Well, what I'm saying is, you may play average defense, but you can just out TCU can outscore you.
Yep.
You know.
And then, the problem is at Texas Tech, I felt like that game against BYU was their best chance for a
Mm,
loss,
mm.
because, they're going to roll over. In all likelihood, they're going to
It,
roll over
well,
UCF this weekend. And then in 3 weeks, they have West Virginia.
yeah.
So
So,
they're
but we,
really in the driver's seat when it comes
yeah.
to getting to
So
Arlington.
what you really hope for is to finish second to Texas Tech, and these other BYU, Cincinnati, Houston to all lose at least one. Um,
Right.
I mean, it might. Like, Texas Tech has the clearest path, I think, out of all these teams right now.
It's definitely the easiest path, because
The easy. That's what I
yeah, I mean,
mean.
yeah, they
Yeah.
have UCF, a
Hmm.
bye, and then they got West Virginia.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, I mean, I mean, on paper anyway, yeah, stranger things have happened, but on paper,
it
it
happened
looks
last
like
year.
it's gonna be the Red Raiders
Hmm.
in Arlington. Um, you know, again, but hey, that's why they play the game. And hey, BYU and Cincinnati, they got to play each other. Houston doesn't exactly have an easy path. They still got their rivals Baylor in a couple weeks. I know that they got. I think they have like one other crucial game. Um, yeah, they got TCU as
TCU.
well. So
Yeah.
yeah, next week.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean they're right there, but there's no reason ASU can't get by them. We'll see how the rest of this plays out.
Yeah. We
But
can't keep we. Yeah, we can't take our eyes off the ball. You got to
yeah,
win it.
exactly. The big thing is just go out there and control what you can control and win your
Right. Right.
games.
Right.
Beat the teams that are in front of you. Yeah, and just kind of hope for the best. I think that's all you really can do at this point with some of these, as top heavy as the conference is right now.
Hmm.
Yeah, some of these teams are going to beat up on each other. Odds are we're going to have one very unexpected upset here the next 3 weeks within this
Right.
conference. That's
What,
certainly been the
it'll tighten it
kind
up.
of the mantra,
Hmm.
the pattern of this conference the last
Yeah.
last few years. So there's no reason to think these next 3 weeks won't be any different.
I I am, we say this every year, no matter what the scenario, it always, for some reason, U of A always becomes so important. Last year we needed it to get to the championship game. This year, you know, it may be, they may be a,
Yeah, and
be
even
good.
with all the tiebreakers, that didn't automatically get us in. We
That's
had
right.
to
Yeah,
had to hope for one game to fall our way. Luckily, it did.
right.
Um, they're on the way
Somebody
home.
was somebody with Kansas in their name, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, Kansas
Yeah,
State,
Kansas State.
and
Yeah,
yeah, and Cincinnati, I think was
yeah,
the
yeah. We
final
I was at a party
game.
watching that. It was like we're in now.
Well,
Anyway,
no, we were on the bus going
on the bus.
back
Oh, that's right.
from
We're on the bus.
Tucson.
That's right. We were on the bus, and we heard it. We had it all on all our phones and tablets and stuff coming back. We
Yep,
were, yeah, made the bus ride even better.
no doubt.
But
So I mean, yeah, that's kind of where we stand right now. Basically, the most important thing is just go out there and win, and it starts this week against a West Virginia team that all of a sudden has kind of figured some things out. I mean, they were
hmm
not very good early in the year. Looked like they were headed for the rebuilding year that everybody kind of expected them to be on, um, under returning coach Rich Rodriguez, who of course was in Morgantown, kind of made his bones there as their head coach from '01 to '07 before taking the Michigan job and ending up down in Tucson. Uh, Very interesting record though against ASU. 0-3 in Tempe, 2-4
hmm
overall against the Devils.
Yeah.
So be interesting to see what how they come out in this game. Um,
And
but
yet
yeah,
the
6-7 record last year. Neil Brown was let go at the end of the season. They had an interim coach for their bowl game, lost to Memphis. But yeah, they are kind of rebuilding right now. They had a lot of players transfer out, a bunch of players transfer in. Um,
do you
kind of
remember
hitting the reset button a little bit there
do
in
you remember
Morgantown.
the U of A social media people who, and they posted on Rich Rod's Twitter site, AS Ass Who. Remember that, Ass Who? I thought, what kind of
Yeah,
what world do you live
clever,
in? Yeah, well,
clever.
but
Yeah,
yet you were 0-3 in Tempe and 2-4 overall, and
exactly.
I was like, there's some spin for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, right.
Anyway, um,
Yep.
it's
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, we always give Rich Rodriguez a hard time
oh,
for,
because you're so animated.
being the U of A coach. Yeah, I want to be a Michigan man.
Yeah. Well,
And
he
then the
was
way he got
bounced.
got let go in Tucson, of course,
Yeah.
is fairly well known.
hmm
Not the slickest exit any coach has ever had from a job.
He got paid. Give
Yeah,
him that much.
and he did kind of right the ship, turn Jacksonville State into an
hmm
exciting team, and he's brought a bunch of players over from there. I think he's got like 5 or 6
Right.
players from his Jacksonville State team on West Virginia now. So this is a team that's kind of figured some things out. They go 2-1 to start the year. They actually lost to Ohio University in their
Who's-
second game of the year,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then they lose 5 straight to open up the Big 12 schedule, against some teams that, frankly, I mean, yeah, you got Utah and BYU in there.
hmm
TCU again, no pushover, but then you also lose by 31 to Kansas and 32 to UCF. I
hmm
mean, yeah,
hmm
granted those were on the road, but still, I mean that was bad. And they were trying to figure out their quarterback situation. They had some transfers come in. They were kind of playing musical chairs at the position for a little bit. They've had some injuries at the position, which we'll get
Oh, big.
into
Yeah.
here in just a minute as we move on here. Of course, Rich Rod's legacy, the little punt flag. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey,
Hard to forget.
extra points if anybody brings a punt flag to the game on Saturday. I will buy you a beer.
Free admission to the tailgate.
Yeah, yeah. I'll have a beer waiting for you. Um, anyway, I
But yeah,
had to
and
throw
yeah,
that in.
again, here's
Sorry.
their schedule. They start 2-1, they lose to Ohio University second game of the year. I mean, their non-conference schedule was not very, very strong. They played Robert Morris, then they had their rival Pittsburgh in the backyard brawl, which they
hmm
won in overtime. And again, They got, but hey, I mean, they've been nostalgic. They have Pat White and Noel Devine on their staff now. A couple
Yeah.
guys who got put into the College Football Hall of Fame last week.
Good
So
move.
well,
Good
well,
move.
Devine did. I don't know about Pat White, but I know Noel Devine did.
He's a
I
fan
remember I
favorite. Yeah.
remember these guys. I remember those guys when I was in college,
Oh, Pat
and yeah,
White was
they
a
had
legend.
some very strong teams, some very very good teams that went to some big bowl games. Went to the Sugar Bowl one year, went to the Fiesta Bowl the year Rich Rod's last year.
Hmm.
So very very good teams.
Jeff
And
Hostetler.
now he's back. Now he's back in Morgantown,
Yeah.
and looking to kind of capture that nostalgia, that fan fan pride for the Mountaineer football program. And
I
it's
got to meet Jeff Hostetler at the when they came out here for that when we played him in at Chase Field.
ah
Um,
oh right, yes, the
yeah.
Cheez It
Oh,
Bowl, I think
oh
it
five,
was.
oh five. Yeah, the Cheese
Yeah,
Bowl.
we'll no that would have
Oh,
been
oh seven.
2015
Yeah,
because
yeah, 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 yeah. I'm
yeah
thinking. Yeah,
yeah the
yeah.
Rutgers
2015.
game.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, 2015, Will Greer, the all the long passes. We won't open that can of worms. But yeah, it's been kind of a rough season, losing five straight for the Mountaineers. But it looks like they figured some things out because they shocked Houston 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and they were tremendous. They were fun to watch. They were
They,
tremendous in that game. They end up
they stoned him.
just running away from the Cougars in Houston
Yeah.
too, and they end up winning 45-35,
Yep.
which tied their point output from this season. They When they beat Robert Morris 45-3 in their opener.
Wow.
And then last week, Colorado's not a very good team, but hey,
No.
you guys still got to go out there and play the team that's across from you. And they, I think they have something in this quarterback. Scotty
Yeah.
Fox is a true freshman.
Yeah.
I thought he was third string to start the year, but
He's
you said he was
he's
fifth string.
their beat writer. I heard him today say he started out fifth as fifth, but they said today if they suddenly got healthy and one and two came back, he would win out the job just
Yeah,
because
and
he's
yeah,
throwing
we
six.
mentioned the quarterback injuries. Nico Marchiol and Jalen Henderson, both they were starters at the beginning of the year. They have they've been ruled out for the season, I believe. If not, at least this game. I know they're out for
Mhm.
this game.
Yep.
But I mean, you look at West Virginia's stats and what they got. They've had four different quarterbacks play significant time this year. They
Right.
also have another quarterback, Khalil Wilkins, who played quite a bit this year and is still the second leading rusher on the team. They may use him in some sub packages, but right now it is Scotty Fox. It's his job. It's his team as a true freshman. So be interesting to watch him. I mean,
Hmm.
he's been a little bit prone, John. If you go back a slide, he's been a little bit prone to the turnover. He's got four
Hmm. Oh yeah.
interceptions so
Oh,
far
he's
this year.
four games.
He's also been sacked 9 times. That offensive line
Right.
with the injuries to the quarterbacks aren't an accident. The offensive line has kind of struggled this year, although they may have found something in the way that they run the ball. They've been a lot better with that the last couple weeks. But yeah, he's 825 yards through the air, 5 touchdowns, but he does a lot of his damage on the ground. 61 carries, 203 yards, and 3 scores on the ground. You watch him in that Houston game, and man, some of those runs that he made,
Oh
that kid
yeah.
does not look 18. I mean, he was making
Yeah.
some big time plays, and he's been fun to watch there in Morgantown since he took over the job. This will be his fourth career start on Saturday. So watch out for him because don't let the experience fool you. This kid's got home run threat written all over him. He's a
Yeah.
very, very good player.
Yeah. I mean, say what you will. He's still a true freshman, and freshmen still do dumb things. You know, they can't. They don't do everything exceptionally well. There's very, very few of those. Those are the guys that that they make movies about and put him in the halls of fame. He's not that yet,
Yeah,
but he's going to be fun to watch, and it's going to be exciting to play
yeah,
against a kid like a real dual threat. Um,
true.
so keep your eyes, guys, on how we spy him, what our scheme looks like playing
Yeah,
against this guy.
definitely going to have to get a body on him because you
Hmm.
cannot let that kid run free. You
Right.
don't want a repeat of Houston with the quarterback just running
Plus
down your
one.
throat.
Yeah. No plus one.
Play after play. Yeah, +1 runs exactly.
Right. Right.
But and then
It's
they've
more
also
of a
had some.
it's more of a triple option actually. It's truer to a triple option than it is
Well, and
Houston
that's
was just playing plus one go. You
and
know.
well, and West Virginia was kind of under with Pat White and Noel Devine. I mean, they were kind of a throwback a little bit because they ran kind of a modern veer.
A veer, correct. Yeah.
When they were winning all those games, almost 20 years ago,
Hmm.
they were doing some good things with
Hmm.
with a bit of a throwback offense, a kind of a twist. It was a little bit more of a modern twist, but Rich Rod knows what he does. He knows what to do. He gets the most out of the players. He modifies his offense. He can run just about any kind of offense, and he will modify his offense based on his strengths and the players that he has.
Hmm.
He's not a guy who likes to, fit to a mold. Um, he will uh, he will change things up very quickly
Hmm.
if something's not working. And it's clear by the quarterback injuries, and they've also had that's the case. And then they've also had some injuries at the running back spot where they got a couple guys out. They got three of their running backs out for this game, and Jaheim White, Ty Edwards, and Tyler Jacklich. But Diore Hubbard's having himself a good year. 94
Yeah.
carries, 28 yards, 4 touchdowns. They don't ask their running backs to do too much in the passing game. They've been keeping things pretty simple with with the injuries that they've had in the running back spot. Just basically you know block, you know take the ball, run, find the hole, go try to make
Yeah.
plays. That's been
Which
what they've been asking their running backs to do of
which of
late.
those two, Hubbard or Powers, is the 6'1", 225 kid, the bigger
I
kid?
think that's Bowers. They have
Bowers. Yeah.
another running back that somebody mentioned that he's actually, I don't know why he's second on the depth chart, named Clay Ash,
Hmm.
who but I mean he's got 43 carries on the season, but he's only got 131 yards.
Hmm.
So I mean, yeah, they might work him in, but and then no touchdowns. So they may
Yeah.
work him in short yardage,
Yeah.
but these, as far as from a statistical standpoint, these two definitely are are the guys to watch
Sure.
um, with what they've done this year. And then the receiving core, their good players, Jaden Bray is out with an injury for this game as well.
Right.
But Cam Vaughn, I mentioned one of the players that followed Rich Rod from Jacksonville State. He's been their best receiver this year. 30 receptions, 462 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's a very very good player, and I think he's got a good thing going with Scotty Fox right now. Um, Rodney Gallagher, no touchdowns on the year, but 25 catches, 212 yards. They really like to look for him to keep the chains moving. Um,
This
and
kid.
then
This.
they have
This.
another guy. They have another guy,
Yeah.
Jeff Weimer, but has only got 12 catches on the season. So I think he's an interesting player. They will run a lot of spread sets, three wide receivers. But Grayson Barnes, their tight end, is another go-to player. 17 catches, 177 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the year.
He had
That's
the
a guy
winning.
that they
He had the winning.
will
Yeah.
look for.
He had the winning touchdown against Pitt in overtime, as I recall.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then this offensive line I mentioned has really struggled this year with between the four quarterbacks that they've had this year. They've given up 24 sacks.
You.
Yeah. So they have
Yeah.
really struggled. That's been a big issue.
Yeah.
But they've had success the last couple weeks, you know, not 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 letting their quarterbacks get hit, opening up some running lanes. They put up some decent points these last 2 weeks. So maybe they've have something figured out in their scheme that they didn't really have those during those 5 straight losses. So have to
Well.
wait
Yeah.
and see how they come out and play on Saturday.
Yeah. A lot of times, when you're having that much, as tumultuous as it is at quarterback, quarterbacks aren't stepping up. They're not, can't stay in the pocket or can't read. Certainly freshman quarterbacks have that tendency, and that leads to sacks. So as especially,
Yeah, I mean Barnes, this will be his fourth start. I mean
that's right.
he's played
Yeah.
about 3.5 games. He's been sacked 9 times
Yeah.
in 3.5 games. So yeah, that he is, with that offensive line, his inexperience has led to some turnovers. But at the same time, though, they've also put some points on the board as well.
Yeah.
So
I think
things could go either way.
I think I texted you during the middle of the Iowa State game on how well our linebackers were picking up the tight ends.
Hmm.
They were dropping in space, and it was beautiful to watch. The
And
corners didn't have.
and that was another problem
Yes.
against Houston. That
Yes.
Koziol was
Right.
just
Oh,
couldn't do anything with him, couldn't
that's
stop
right.
him. And we talked about Iowa State's really good tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
And
Nope.
yeah, Brahmer went out with the injury, but they still had another guy in oh gosh, his name escapes me at the moment. But they did have a
Yeah.
couple
Yeah.
really good tight ends that you had to watch out for. And yeah, the linebackers certainly
Oh,
did a very good job
it, mastered.
on them. Uh,
Yep.
Gabe Burkle, that was
That's
the
it.
other one I was thinking.
It was
He only had
being
two catches in that
yeah,
game
the two
as
B's.
well.
Yeah.
So
The bees. I remember that. Yeah.
yeah,
So
Farmer and Burkle, that's right.
yeah.
Yeah, and then they got
Good.
another one, Grayson Barnes
Mm-hmm.
here, who's been a really good safety blanket for Scotty Fox so far.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a guy that you definitely need to watch out for. And then West Virginia defense, they've given up, quite a few points. I mean, they've been a lot better last couple weeks
Against the
again,
rush. Yep.
but
Good against the rush.
yeah, they are very good against. They give about 260 yards a game through the air, only about
Air.
140 on
That's
the ground. So yeah,
that's
they've been very
respectable.
good. They've been a lot better against the
It's
run.
trending. Yeah.
Yeah, they are. You're right. They are trending in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been a unit that has steadily improved through the course of the season, and they're going to run kind of a the Rich Rod when he was at U of A, he ran a modified 3-3-5.
Correct.
That's what he ran. Tried to run it at Michigan. It does not work in the Big Ten.
Mm.
But he also did that. That's what he ran at West Virginia to
Sure.
really good success. So if you have the personnel for it, I think that's another thing they were figuring out.
Yeah.
It's actually more of a modified 3-4, but they have a kind of a bandit position.
Mm.
It's almost like a rover. It's kind of a
Mm-hmm.
linebacker safety hybrid
Yeah.
that will just line up all over the place. You really need to watch out for. And Jeff Alley uh, came over with Rich Rod from Jacksonville State as well,
Big
so they're
12.
very familiar.
Yep.
And he seems like he's got this unit playing a lot better because they struggled. I mean, they gave up 48 points to Utah. They gave up 45 to Central Florida, 38 to BYU, 41 to Kansas. So yeah, they had some big numbers, and even their win against Houston, they still gave up 35 points there. So yeah, they're giving up some points, but again, let's see what comes of this game as we go into
What,
some of their
you know,
players.
and you know
Um,
what I look
some
at,
of their
I look at this. I can attribute this to kind of one thing. They brought in a lot of players this year, a lot of portal guys, and
Yeah,
their freshman class, like 53 players total. And
and which is
with that,
funny because this defense is actually very senior laden. All the
yes,
starters on this
right.
defense are like redshirt seniors.
And my point is though, defense, any kind of line play takes time to gel. I don't care.
True.
I don't care who you are. It just takes time to everybody learn their roles. And so
Yeah.
they've gotten better, and they're trending. But um, I think hat on hat, man on man. I think we're going to out athlete them. I really do.
You'd like to think so,
I
yeah.
do.
I
Yeah.
mean, especially at least on paper. But I mean, this is still a very a defense that has a lot of talent on it. Fred Perry,
Hmm.
another Jacksonville State transfer, has
Hmm.
come over, and they'll line him up all over the field. They'll play him at nickel corner. They'll play him at safety.
Yep.
70 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, a
He's a
couple forced fumbles as well. Darian Lewis, the other safety, he's more of the ball hawk. He's got a couple interceptions on the season. And then their other corner, Michael Coates, 6 pass defense this year. He's a little bit like a Keith Abney, a guy that
hmm
you maybe don't want to throw at quite as much because he's a guy who'll get after it and doesn't have an interception this year, but will still make it tough for you to complete balls. And with no Jordan Tyson in this game, passing game's gonna be interesting to see who steps up
Hmm.
here, because they're going to key in on the running game. They're going to probably key in on Mateer, try to make somebody else
Well, I think McLean is
beat
going to.
them.
McLean should. I thought McLean actually had a pretty good game, but I think
Well,
he's
he had
one
a
of
good game
the things.
against Houston.
Sure did, yeah.
And yeah, him and Jalen Moss both had a couple nice
Hmm.
catches on that touchdown drive
Hmm.
that they had. Yeah, they both um, I mean they only had 5 catches between them, but
Right.
they both went, but combined they were over 100 yards.
They were key, yeah.
Yeah, so they had a couple big gains. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean certainly you want to get those guys involved. I feel like Jalen Moss is, yeah, he's battled injuries and he's been underutilized a little bit this year. So hopefully he's fresh and
Well,
they can
he
get him more
he
involved
had,
in the offense here
he had
going
some bad
forward.
luck. Yeah, he got sick, and he also had turf
Hmm.
toe. He had two compounding things, one after the
Ugh,
other.
yeah, I hate it
So
when that
it's
happens.
yeah.
But yeah, for West Virginia though, Jason Chambers, another good corners, put up some stats this year as well. Those, those are their starting secondary is certainly, I think, the strength of this team. But you watch the Colorado game, and they had some guys flash up front.
Yeah.
They got a couple linebackers who are, got some talent to them,
Hmm.
and one of the guys is Reed. Next slide, please.
Yeah, yeah. Very good.
Reed Carrico. He's got 50 tackles, 5.5 for loss. Leads the team with 3.5 sacks from the Mike position.
Mm.
Um, and he'll be involved in pass defense as well. They'll drop him, runs well sideline to sideline. Reed Wilson's been a good player for them as well. They got another linebacker named, I thought he was a starter because he flashed really well, played really well against Colorado. Ben Bogle. That
Mm.
was a guy who had made some nice plays against Colorado, and he hasn't really filled up the stat sheet, but he's starting to get more opportunities. And this linebacking core, they got some playmakers out there. And then on the line, Devin Grant kind of plays that. He plays the true D end position that they have. They have the D end, and then they'll have like their rush end. But Devin Grant sets the edge really well. He's got a couple sacks and tackles for loss this year. He's played that outside spot very, very well. And then on the inside, Eddie Vesterinen, probably butchered that a little bit. He's got
No,
a couple sacks himself, so he's been on that inside spot. He's been really good at getting after the quarterback. Um, and yeah, they got, and then I mean, they have a true D tackle, a true D end, and they got a nose, and then they got that rush end as well. So, I mean,
is
and
it?
then the rush end is where that Jamori Robinson that you mentioned,
Yeah, he's
number zero,
right.
who missed some games this year, hasn't really filled up the stat sheet all that
Well,
well
he's only
with
got
what
four.
he's
He's only
done.
well, he had an eligibility problem at the beginning of the year.
Oh,
He couldn't come in until like the I don't know like the fourth game, but he was the defensive player of the year in the American Athletic Conference, and he was player like I say player of the year. He just did not start playing until the Kansas game, the fourth game of the
yeah.
year.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but he's starting to really shine, and he's one of so keep your eye out for that kid. Um,
Yeah.
and
So that's West Virginia's defense. Certainly a unit that's given up some yards, given up some points, but maybe they figured something out. They got the scheme that they're starting to run is maybe starting to take effect with the players that they have,
mhm.
and we'll have to see what ASU looks like going up against this team that they played a couple solid games back to back where they forced some turnovers and given short fields to their offense. So.
Hmm.
We'll see what they look like as we move on here on RWD into our injury report. Of course, ASU with Sam Levitt, Ben Coleman, and now Xavier Alford out for the year. I thought Kyson Brown was out for the year as well, but looks like he'll be out for this game at
That's it.
least.
I think he's got the least frank break.
Well, yeah, right. Jordan Tyson, of course, out for this game as well as made known this week. Um, the hope is, fingers crossed, he'll be back for Colorado.
Hmm.
We'll see how that breaks out. And then we talked about um, West Virginia's injury issues with at the running back and quarterback positions. One of their top receivers too, Jaden Bray, that got a couple other guys banged up. Diora Hubbard is their top running back, and I mean,
Right.
yeah, he's probable, but is he 100%? I
Mm-hmm.
think that's going to
Mm-hmm.
be something to watch, as well as we go into this game where you know, early kickoff time and the elements could come into effect as
Yeah.
well. So
Could be wet. Could be
a
wet.
lot
Just
of
like
lot of factors, a lot of things in play here as we go into our keys to the game, presented by Sleep in Heavenly Peace, a great nonprofit that builds beds for families in need. Please support Sleep in Heavenly Peace. For me, run first, run second, run some more. You got it, kind of like the Iowa State game. Establish the line of scrimmage, keep the chains moving. Put Sims to work, put Relief Brown to work, get that running attack going early and often. Wear down West Virginia, so come late third into the fourth quarter, they don't have much left, and you can effectively move the ball on the ground consistently against them,
yeah.
and it will hopefully open up the play action pass, much like also it did against Iowa State. And then as far as the defense goes, Fox Hunt, don't let that freshman quarterback beat you on the ground. And when he does drop back to pass, got to get home against this questionable offensive line that's given up some sacks this year, and definitely need to get home with some of those with guys like Prince Dorba, Justin Watley, and Clayton Smith
Mm-hmm.
around the end.
Right. I'm sure we've seen enough film now where we know what side to flush him to. I don't know if you, in that BYU game, I don't know if you noticed when that BYU freshman quarterback had to go to his left, he didn't throw
Mm.
it nearly as well.
Not
That's a hard thing.
surprised.
No, that's a hard thing for freshmen to get that throw
Yeah,
down.
throwing across your body. Yeah, never
Exactly.
easy.
So that's those are the kinds of the tendency, the tells that you kind of pick up on film
Hmm.
that will we're going to be trying to take advantage of. I felt the same way. I get a little more detail sometimes, but establish the run, and you can't just keep forcing that run. You got to keep taking whatever the defense gives you, but we still have to stay in third and manageable. And we got to. So what I'm saying is we got to convert early on first and second down. If you can get a
Yeah,
first down
I agree.
if you get first downs on first and second down, things are working well. But obviously we've got to go improve these penalties, and I'll keep saying it until it stops. That victory rides on Jeff's legs. I really felt that way, based on what I saw at practice. We got to close out more drives. Our red zone uh, execution is important, and if you keep matching or exceeding their physicality, you will win this game on offense. Defense, you just make less mistakes. Make that freshman make mistakes. Limit big chunk plays. Keep pressuring him. Something has got to give when you keep doing that. I think, like all games, you want to win the turnover battle, but I think it's really feasible to win it by two. Start strong. None of these these slow starts that we like to have. I'd just like
Mm.
to see us play a full 4 quarters and have all three phases. We haven't played our best game, folks, and these are all things that go into playing your best game. Special teams, I think everything got a little better last week. I still like to see the defensive side of special teams. No big, I want to see us block a punt or block a kick, and I want to see.
Wouldn't hate that.
I think it would be really coming home with where we coming full circle with this special teams, and obviously you want to limit the big returns. So I'm agreeing with you on really everything. I think you make this freshman do dumb stuff, you clean up penalties, you let
Well,
Jeff keep running, and those are
and yeah,
those are
couldn't agree
those are
more.
keys.
And one other thing about the penalties, they had a couple scores get taken off the board
Yeah.
because due to penalties. So that's got to stop. I mean, their struggles in the red zone have been well documented, and due part because of false start penalties.
Yeah.
Just little things that should
It's
not
not.
be happening at this
It,
point in the
yeah.
season, and it's gotten to the point where you've got to go out there and just execute, just beat the guy across from you. It's not
Mhm.
particularly difficult, and just don't. I mean, it was loud in Iowa State last week, so
Well, I
that
like.
played a factor as far as the penalties go. But you can't, especially at home. inside the 5 yard line, you cannot be called for a false start.
You
That
know,
just cannot happen.
I'm going to tell you
So,
some stuff that I kind of picked up this week talking to coaches and kind of reading between the lines. Udo is going to play. Udo, his major malfunction is he's still running. He's not used to this offense. He still runs up the back of
yeah,
blockers all the time. Just dumb stuff like that.
right.
And his hands aren't nearly as good as they should be by this time. But he's going to
Hmm.
play. I think if you get production out of Udo and Relik and Man, if between the three of them, if you got 70, 80 yards, I think you're going to go win this going away. But I think so. That's some things I picked up last night talking to Coach. You're gonna see a little bit more of the room, the running back room, have a chance to show itself because you can't expect Jeff to run for almost another 300 yards again because they're gonna key on him.
That's unrealistic.
Yeah,
Week in and week out,
yeah.
definitely.
No, teams try to stop that. They're gonna stop your strength.
Hmm.
Even, but no, people keep asking, "Where's Udo? Where's Udo? He's supposed to be the replacement for Scat." It's you. You don't have a replacement for Scat. I'm
Hmm.
sorry. What you have, maybe the
You
attitude
you
or the
can,
grit.
yeah, I would say you can replace what he does,
Yeah,
but yeah, you can't replace who he is.
yeah, yeah.
That's the big that's kind of what's part of what's missed from the team this year. But hey, I mean, you got like I said, these are three very winnable games. No reason they can't come out and execute, play better, especially coming out of the bye, and not beat themselves against a team that's still kind of finding their way a little bit with a freshman quarterback and a defense of a lot of transfers. So we'll see what how this all plays out on Saturday, and that takes us into our predictions. I mean, I know I picked Iowa State 2 weeks ago. I'm happy to be wrong. And but John, you and I, even with West Virginia, don't let the record fool you. Even with West Virginia's struggles this year, still feel like this is going to be a close game, especially with ASU's offense being what it is right now. Um, we both have them winning, by a touchdown. They're favored by 11 and a half,
Yeah,
so essentially two touchdowns.
two
But
scores. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh, well, listen. That your score makes total sense. I mean, it hits the over under right on the nose. Um, I just think that we could put up a whole bunch of points if we get off to a nice fast start and they don't have an answer for Sims. If we got to go with what they give us, right? If it's there,
right.
take it. But we could well score well beyond this, I think. But
And another
but
thing too, I mean, it may not even be Sims. They may, we might, just own them up front with our running and our running backs carrying the ball.
yeah.
That could
Well,
just as easily happen. So,
if you got three running backs this game, they could all and it's working. You're going to run away with this. We haven't had
yeah,
that all
just
year.
put in whoever's fresh.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
listen. We it's the home field advantage. It should not ever be minimized.
Mm-mm.
Stay all four quarters, make noise, keep these guys. They like playing in front of this crowd. We were undefeated in what 17? How many games? 13 games in a row until we lost to Houston. Yeah, it was 13.
I forget. Yeah, I
Yeah,
lost track. I mean, we went undefeated last year after losing to U of A 2 years ago.
right.
That was eight, and
Yeah,
then we won the first, I think, five of
yeah,
the season. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
we
It
play
was.
eight. We play seven home games or
Mhm.
four, so it would have been 12. We won 12 in a row, I
Yeah.
think.
I think it
Then,
was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. We were 13 playing for 13 or won
oh
13, but
yeah, that's probably it.
but
But
it's
yeah, home field advantage, especially with Kenny calling out the fans and the student section, tell them to come to the game. Uh, hopefully they'll respond even with the early kickoff. I know it's not easy to get up, for a college student to get up early, early by
mm,
11 on a Saturday. Um, but yeah, definitely get out there. I mean, we'll be out there early. Um,
I'll be there at
Definitely
five
tailgating.
o'clock in the morning getting that darn tailgate ready.
Well, yeah, but you're old. You're up anyway.
I live on that's my day for caffeine and we'll be heavily caffeinated that morning.
Oh
So
yes. Oh yes.
yes,
Hey, and I want a mimosa at the tailgate. So
yeah, well, we can arrange for that.
nice. All right. So yeah, Saturday, 11 o'clock kickoff. First, the earliest kickoff since 2014. Washington State. Remember that game very, very well.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, ASU favored by 11 and a half, over under 47 and a half. I take the under myself. I think this is going to be a little bit more of a defensive struggle. Yeah, West Virginia's shown themselves capable of putting points on the board, but ASU's defense is certainly the strength of the team right now, and I definitely think they're going to show up to play and make that give that freshman quarterback some lumps. So that'll do it for us here on RWD. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Hit the like and subscribe button, comment below. We always appreciate hearing from you guys. And we will see you out there on Saturday, bright and early. So for Big John Caldwell, I'm the Ryan Knowles. We say goodnight. Go Devils, forks up and ball those Mountaineers.
Get after it.